What has made you passionate about living in the present moment and then helping other people get back to being in the present moment?
Yeah, I think there's a few things that have kind of led me down this path and led me to pursue this life of wanting to live in the present, in the here and now, really take advantage of like a full life. When I was younger, when I was about 15 years old, my dad passed away suddenly of a heart attack. And so losing a parent at a young age, obviously it teaches you life lessons. And subconsciously, I think it really just drilled down how precious life really is. And I mean, you don't really realize those things until you go through a loss yourself or you're faced with something that's a bit more dire and you really are kind of like hit with this reality that life is short. And so from that age, I was really convinced that I didn't want to live just for retirement. And I think that's
Yeah.
because that came from the mentality of my parents that they look forward to retiring. They would talk about traveling the world and having these big dreams. And my dad never got to do those things. And so knowing that that was his experience and he gave me this amazing life where I have the privilege of having the choice, I want to build a life where I can enjoy every moment in my
Mhm.
everydays, not just looking at when I'm 60 and I'm retiring, I want to infuse that into my day to day. So that was one of the reasons. And the other reason is after working corporate for about 10 years, I was working in the corporate world in different jobs, and I just found I was lacking a sense of community. And I really, living in a big city, I really wanted to connect more with people in person. And so I sought out these experiences that would really fill my cup. And I realized that it wasn't always about the big vacation. Those are great too. But sometimes it is just those day to day moments where we're gathering with people we love, we're gathering with our friends, making connections in person. And those are just the little shifts that we can do to change our state and to just feel like we're living a more full life and not just living for like the next big thing.
Yeah. So, what were those different activities that you sought out?
Yeah, so when I was working a corporate job, I started doing a lot of like wellness and fitness classes. This is before
Yeah.
it was probably even as popular as it is now, where there's like group experiences. This was about 7 years ago. And so I was starting to get into yoga and meditation, and I would go to these fitness classes and I would realize that people weren't necessarily talking and connecting with one another.
Yeah.
They would go to the class, it would be like in and out, and there wouldn't be these moments where we were allowed to like have that conversation unless you were really proactive in starting it. And often people are shy, so they weren't necessarily hanging out to do that. And so that's what sparked this idea that I wanted to bring more of the activities to people where they felt like they could linger, where they could slow down and feel like they could savor the experience and not just
Yeah.
rush through an activity because they want to check it off their to-do list and feel like they did something productive. It was more like, well, how can I infuse these experiences into people's lives where it's not always about the activity you're doing. It's just about the feeling that it actually brings you. And that's when I started my company and started offering all sorts of activities to specifically women.
It's so interesting that we as women were like in a rush to get all these things done, including our workouts and all the little activities. And I talk to a lot of my male guy friends, and they go to these workout classes too because they want the workout, but they also want to meet someone. They want to
Yeah.
connect with someone. Like they want to find someone that's into the same things they are and connect. And they said the issue that they keep having is the women are like moving in and out. Like they can't even slow down enough to like ask them a question or flirt with them. Isn't
That's
that
so
interesting?
that's funny to hear that feedback. I actually noticed this at the gym when I observe myself. So when I do go to
Yeah.
just like a typical gym setting, I find that from just what I've observed, that I find that men are more likely to linger a little bit. Like they're slower paced in their workouts. They're doing the weights. They're going from machine to machine. They're stopping. They're hanging out a bit more and they're kind of making it an experience naturally, where women are tend to want to be very productive and be like, okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
get this done in 45 minutes. I have this many reps or I have this class to get through. And I'm just going to check it off. And yes, got my morning workout done. Now I can go cold plunge, or now I can go to the sauna. Now I can grab a healthy smoothie. I can go
Yeah.
for my walk and I can go about my day. And I think that's because of our need to feel like we are making every moment productive, especially if we're ambitious and especially if you're driven or entrepreneurial. It's just the nature of the beast, like wanting to make every moment feel like you're adding value or being productive in each moment. And that doesn't allow
Yeah.
much time for that like slow lingering and hanging out for natural things to occur.